Hello there. I'm going to talk a bit today about motivation, about why we practice. I think there are two probably main reasons that people come along to the Buddhist centre and stay, and that's either because they're propelled by dukkha, by the unsatisfactoriness of life. I won't call it as strong as suffering, though sometimes it is. People come along because actually they've suffered a lot in their lives and they've been looking for a way out of that suffering. But the alternative way is from the other end of the spectrum, really, because people find a great deal of beauty and freedom and they're drawn towards enlightenment, even when they don't call it enlightenment. So, at its simplest, you could say that enlightenment is being totally free from all our negative states of mind. It's way beyond that, but that is one simple way we could describe it. So, if we can imagine waking up in the morning and just experiencing open-heartedness, loving kindness, and that whatever happened to us in the day, it never rocked us. We always felt that open-hearted spirit, as it were, and a sense of everything being right in the world, everything being unavoidable, if you like. So, yeah, I think some people are drawn towards the beauty of the Dharma and the potential that they have in themselves. Maybe they've done everything else in their life and, there's nothing more to do. So it makes us then reflect on, well, what is life for? So those are two rather extreme ways. But what do we mean by practice? We use this word a lot, don't we? Practicing Buddhism. And I think for some people, it's they might say that they've learnt a lot about Buddhism. They've read lots of books and so on, and heard lots of lectures. But in a way, we're only practicing Buddhism if we actually do put it into practice. So there's a big difference between just reading about the Dharma, reading about what the Buddha said, and actually putting it into practice. So the most fundamental way that we practice is through meditation. And I know a lot of people find it quite difficult to establish a regular meditation practice. And it does require quite a lot of self-discipline. I think the word self-discipline isn't very popular, but I think if we can just think of it as doing what is good for ourselves, seeing what is best for ourselves and following that. It's nobody else telling us to do it. It's just like we have found out that actually we benefit. And you can only find out if it's of benefit if you actually do it. And that is do it regularly. You haven't got to sit down for an hour a day necessarily, but just making a regular habit, kind of making a promise to yourself that you're going to do at least 10 minutes at the start, establishes something that you find beneficial, and then of course you want to do it more. So it's a form of training, and Buddhist practice is a form of training. We're training ourselves out of bad habits and into better ones, and we need to be trained just as any animal needs to be trained. We know that, we know how easy it is to get seduced by our mobile phone, by the television, by food, by all sorts of things. Everything is thrust at us today to tempt us away from being aware. So we've got a choice, but it doesn't always feel like it, because we can often feel manipulated and propelled in certain directions. So it's good to know that, to see that actually, yes, we're being persuaded not to be aware. We're persuaded to look for an easy way of life. And in a way you can understand, because it combats this terrible pressure that a lot of people have on themselves to work really hard. There's a strong work ethic, isn't there? And so, any time off, it's just like, well, all you want to do is collapse. But, if you take Buddhist practice seriously, I think you start looking for ways to simplify your life and ways to do work that you both enjoy doing, but as, doesn't require all your energy, doesn't take it out of you to such an extent that, when you come to the end of your life or come to retirement, you look back and think, what was all that for? Why did I spend my life doing what other people wanted me to do and just working for bigger houses and a better car? So, we need to take responsibility for how much time we work and set up our lives accordingly. So, yes, Buddhist practice consists certainly of meditation. And the reason for that is because it's the most direct way that we work on our mind, that we change our mind, that we find space, that we develop loving kindness. It's a very direct way. And as you know, it's not always easy to be with yourself. It's not an easy option. And that's why a lot of people find it really difficult to build up a regular habit. So the other things are that we need to find out what was it that the Buddha said, and we need to test those out for ourselves. So we've got the precepts, we've got the 5 precepts that we can practice. So that is, the first one is to practice loving kindness, to avoid harming other living beings. The next one is generosity, open-hearted generosity. And generosity comes up in nearly all the Buddhist lists, as it were. In a way, it's the easiest thing to practice if we can just make a regular habit of it. Just giving away, giving up, giving what we can. It doesn't have to be in terms of money, it can be in terms of time and attention. And yes, thirdly, we practice stillness, simplicity and contentment. Stillness, simplicity and contentment. And that works against our instinct, to always be busy, to be distracting ourselves. We need space for practice. We need space to find out whether the Buddha's teachings actually work. And we need space in order to feel spacious, not to feel so overworked. And then the next one is practicing truthful speech. And there's a lot in there that could be said. I'm not going to say it today, but truthful speech covers all sorts of speech, if we're really honest, if we're deeply honest. It's a way of being authentic and enhancing really pleasant communication. Pleasant communication. And then the final one is mindfulness. With mindfulness clear and radiant, I purify my mind. So mindfulness is a very beautiful practice. It's one that has now, become commonly known even in the secular world. But Buddhist mindfulness, I think, goes further than secular mindfulness. So we practice the precepts. And another central teaching of Buddhism is that of the 3 lakshanas, as you know. So just a reminder for those who maybe aren't so familiar with them, we have unsatisfactoriness. We have to penetrate through to see that if we just follow a materialistic life, that there will never be any ultimate satisfaction. There cannot be. It's impossible. So the fact that we got a body, just that fact alone, means that, we know that we're going to get ill at times, we're going to get old, we're going to die. And that's never been more explicit than in these present times. So the second of the 3 lakshanas, of course, is impermanence. And they're very closely related, aren't they? Life is unsatisfactory because everything is impermanent. And the third one is it's seeing that there is a lack of permanent self. There is not some nugget in ourself that is I or me, because once again it's all impermanence. So we penetrate into these three truths very gradually. It doesn't come all at once, and we can know them intellectually without actually knowing them in our experience. So apart from those things, basically Buddhism is about enhancing, expanding our awareness in all sorts of ways. So I think that's enough for today. And we need to find our motivation. That's the important point. Otherwise we will never put our heart really behind our practice. It's very good sometimes actually to contemplate, where do we put our heart? What is most important in our life? And is that impermanent? Does that cause us pain? So lots to think about. I'll leave it for there. Bye.